Hi, in this lecture we'll talk about social learning theory. According to social learning theory, people learn from others because they want to get a more accurate picture of reality. Social learning is different from individual learning, which refers to the things people try out themselves. Social learning theory offers an explanation for conformity, the tendency that people copy the opinions and behaviors of others. According to social learning theory, this happens because people learn from others and therefore they become more similar to others. At the same time, social learning theory also emphasizes social learning biases. These are conditions that modify the degree of conformity. So, depending on certain conditions, conformity is stronger or weaker. A well-known condition has to do with the popularity of an opinion in the population. If an opinion is widely supported, then more and more people will conform to that opinion. People take popularity as a signal for quality, for being the right or accurate opinion. Now, in the simple version of this idea, called the popularity effect, the chance of copying a certain opinion is directly proportional to the frequency of that opinion in the population. So if 75% of the people believe A, then there is 75% chance you will believe A as well. But according to another idea, called the majority effect, opinions that receive a majority support, so more than 50%, are copied disproportionately more often. So if 75% believe in A, then there is more than 75% chance you will believe A as well. A second social learning bias has to do with the amount of exposure to an opinion. So an opinion can be quite popular, but if you are not exposed to the idea, then you will not conform to it, even if it's there in your environment. So you're more likely to copy opinions and behaviors that are highly visible to you, to ideas you often hear. Now, conformity also depends on the status of the people who support the opinion. High status persons can be people with a certain authority or an expertise, but also persons you personally like, and more generally, members of the groups to which you belong. So when you follow a celebrity on Instagram and he or she posts his or her opinion online, then you are likely to conform to that opinion, simply because you like that person. Conformity also depends on susceptibility. The more strongly individuals in a certain social condition are open to adopting opinions, the more likely they will conform to the opinions in that context. Susceptibility can be a personal characteristic. Some people are highly unsure about themselves, about their own judgments, and therefore more strongly rely on the opinions of others. Now, susceptibility can also depend on the uncertainty of the situation. People are not always to the same degree uncertain about their opinions. In more uncertain conditions, about which people have little knowledge, people are more uncertain, and therefore they may rely more on others. Now, susceptibility may also be related to the nature of the opinion. For opinions that are simple facts, having heard them from one person is enough to believe them. Say, if you ask what time it is to a friend of yours, then you just believe what he said. Such simple facts are transmitted like a virus. You only need one infected person. This is called simple contagion. But some opinions and behaviors are more consequential and risky. So if a friend claims that he can make you immune to COVID-19 by taking an experimental drug, you may want to hear the opinions of others first before you follow this advice. This is called complex contagion. Now, for these kind of opinions, one needs to receive social affirmation from more sources. They do not spread like a virus. The tendency of people to copy certain opinions can also be affected by the attractiveness of the content of these opinions. Now, suppose, for instance, that you read a study which provides scientific evidence showing that human behavior has caused global warming, and which states that urgent action is needed to mitigate this problem. Now, if you have always been told by your friends and family that global warming is not a major issue, and that you believe that humans play no role in this, then it's likely that you will just ignore the claims and arguments of this study. People tend to confirm their existing beliefs and simply ignore or reinterpret disconfirming evidence. In fact, it's likely that you would not have read the scientific study because people selectively expose themselves to those opinions in their environment that are in line with their own opinions. Confirmation bias is an extremely powerful social learning bias. And finally, scholars also argue that some opinions are more attractive to adopt when these opinions are better adapted to their situation. All else being equal, human beings prefer to adopt opinions that work better, that are more useful in a certain context. So some opinions and corresponding behaviors just work better than other ideas and behaviors, and it's more rational, more attractive to copy ideas that work well. So with these social learning biases in mind, you can understand how opinions are transmitted in the population. Why some people believe, for example, that COVID-19 is not so deadly, that's just a flu. This idea is scientifically wrong, so it doesn't seem to be well adapted to the situation we face. However, people can still believe it, for example because they are not exposed to scientific arguments and evidence against the idea. Or they may trust status persons who claim COVID-19 is just a flu. So you can combine the social learning biases to understand the cultural transmissions of opinions like these. In summary, social learning theory argues that people learn from others because they want to get a more accurate picture of reality. And this is a reason why we tend to be similar to the people in our environment. However, the degree to which we conform to the opinions of others depends on many different things, such as on the popularity of the opinion, exposure, status, and susceptibility. When you take these different social learning biases into account, you can better understand cultural transmission. And you can understand why sometimes people firmly believe in certain things that make no sense at all. Okay, take care.